Hej och välkommen till avsnitt 50 of Learn Swedish with Katrin. This week, we are doing a little Learn Swedish, Slow Swedish crossover. For those of you who don't know, I have another podcast called Slow Swedish that helps you build vocabulary and improve your overall comprehension. It's a bit more advanced than Learn Swedish, since this podcast focuses on the absolute basics. But my goal is, of course, for all of you to eventually be able to graduate from Learn Swedish and join us over at Slow Swedish to take your language learning to the next level. With that said, you are all more than welcome to join us at any time. Slow Swedish is Patreon exclusive and also costs $10 per month. And your Learn Swedish membership is included. So go to patreon.com/Slow Swedish to check it out. Anyhow, this week we are mixing it up a little. You guys asked me some questions about Sweden, Swedish, and my life, and I will be answering them. First, you'll get my answers in English, here on Learn Swedish. Then, you'll get the same Q&A in Easy Swedish, Slow Swedish, and normal Fast Swedish over at Slow Swedish in the coming week. Regardless if you're a Slow or Learn Swedish member, you'll get access to all these episodes. This is the perfect opportunity to see how much of my easy and slow Swedish you can pick up on when you already know the topic I'm talking about. Let's start with the first question from Mari. Do you like fantasy stuff, like books, movies, games, or series? I thought it could be fun to get an episode about that, completely new vocabulary, etc. For me, fantasy is very hit or miss. I can't say I enjoy all fantasy, and I often lose interest if it's a world I don't really care about. The Lord of the Rings movies and series, for example, not interested. Game of Thrones and all their spin-off series, on the other hand, amazing. Love it. The new Knight of the Seven Kingdoms series is incredible. So, with that said, I don't have too much experience with fantasy in Swedish to base an entire episode off of. I really wish we could do some more exciting book club projects on the podcast, but with copyright laws, that's sadly not possible. Next question from No. Is hockey a very popular sport in Sweden? Absolutely. Ice hockey is a top 10 sport in Sweden, and as you might know, our national team is one of the best in the world. The men's team is often nicknamed Tre Kronor, and the women's team Damkronorna. En krona is a crown, and the nickname comes from the 3 crowns on the jerseys. This is Sweden's national emblem, and it was first put on the jerseys in 1938, but has roots all the way back to the 14th century. The 3 crowns symbolize the 3 parts of Sweden: Svealand, Götaland, and Norrland. Personally, I'm not very into ice hockey. I'm not sure why, I just never grew up in an ice hockey home. I played for a year or so when I was a kid, like 5-6 years old, but it wasn't really for me. Next question from Nicholas. Do you have a favorite kind of Swedish pastry, or a pastry you find interesting? I like cardamom buns, and I have a Swedish cookbook, but are there perhaps other pastries I don't know about? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because my National Day is coming up on Tuesday, February 17th. It's called Fettisdagen, which means Fat Tuesday. It takes place on a Tuesday, 47 days before Easter every year. Fat Tuesday is traditionally the start of a 40-day long fast before Easter, We don't really fast anymore, but we celebrate it nonetheless with a special little pastry called a semla. The semla has gone bonkers in the past 5 to 10 years, and people are making up all kinds of variations. But the original semla is a smooth cardamom bun that you cut the top off of, you stuff almond paste into the bottom, and then fill it up with whipped cream. In the olden days, you put it in a bowl and poured hot milk around it, but we don't do that anymore. I love semlor. Sadly, cardamom is my nemesis, so if there are semla variations without the cardamom bun, I usually go for those. But other than that, I'm a conservative semla eater. No funny business for me. So that's the best Swedish pastry for sure. And Swedes are obsessed. During the entire semla season, about 50 million semlor are consumed across the country. And on Fat Tuesday alone, 6 million semlor are eaten. Insane. Next question from Steve. The most difficult thing for me is hearing native speakers when they are just being Swedish. I understand your pods, other lessons on YouTube, and I understand my tutor, but you are all there to help me. Tjejen in the coffee shop is not. What are your best tips for learners who do not live in the country? This is sadly the downside of learning the language abroad. It's very difficult to get access to native, day-to-day Swedish without being in the country and interacting with people. The closest you'll get is consuming movies, TV shows, and especially YouTubers in Swedish, because they aren't speaking slowly or clearly to help you out. They're just speaking regular Swedish. The problem with influencers and YouTubers is that they rarely add subtitles to their content, especially not subtitles in Swedish. This makes it a bit difficult to practice understanding what they're saying. You don't really have any reference that'll tell you if you're on the right track or not. But with that said, one of my favorite YouTubers does indeed have subtitles on her videos, so you have to check her out. The channel is called Familjen Torsgården. So cozy and Swedish. The next question is from Doom. Do you have tips for a learning routine? Honestly, I wish I did. I could make one up here on the spot and pretend that it's great and you should follow it. But I wouldn't be speaking from my own experience and I can't know if it works or not. What I do know that really works is to study in ways you enjoy. Yes, sure, it's important to learn grammar and rules and basics and yada yada. But it's equally important to immerse yourself in the language and have fun while studying. When I study Spanish, I do it by listening to and studying music I enjoy. I watch a lot of paddle with Spanish commentators and look up words and expressions I don't understand. I have a friend from Mexico that I speak to on a regular basis, and I have some books I enjoy in Spanish that I'll grab and study a couple of pages from every now and then. This isn't a routine that I follow on a daily basis, and I'm not actively studying Spanish right now, but it has worked over time and helped me both enjoy learning, but also feel like it's paying off when I understand what someone is saying. What I can say for sure is that listening to Learn Swedish or Slow Swedish is a great addition to your routine. It's hopefully both fun and useful. The next question is from William. The news about Epstein is putting European royalty, like Norway and the UK, under close scrutiny. How satisfied are Swedes with their royal family? The only person with ties to Epstein so far in the Swedish royal family is Prinsessan Sofia, who is married to Prins Carl Philip. Before they met, she was your average young, attractive party girl. She even participated in the Swedish Paradise Hotel reality show. She has been mentioned in the files a handful of times and has said that she has been at the same events as Epstein a few times in her 20s, but she hasn't interacted with him, and my personal opinion is that she looks as though she'd be closer to becoming a victim than a perpetrator in this situation. With that said, Swedes overall are very happy with the royal family. In 2024, about 55% of Swedes wanted to keep the monarchy, and only 18 to 20% wanted to get rid of it. The king is well liked by the people, and our crown princess, Victoria, is by far the most popular. I love the royal family, and I think they're a nice tradition. Final question from Linda. Why did you become a language teacher? I never planned on teaching Swedish. It wasn't something I was interested in at all. But during my time as a YouTuber, a lot of my followers showed interest in Sweden and the Swedish language, so I mixed some Swedish into my content. At one point, I wanted to freshen up my school German a bit and decided to look up some German YouTubers. I quickly realized that interesting content in German was way too advanced, and all content at my German level was for children. This gave me the idea to start creating normal influencer content in slow, accessible Swedish, and Slow Swedish has grown from there. It was just by accident, but I really enjoy teaching, and I have always loved taking complicated things and making them simple and easy to understand. So teaching a language is a great outlet for that. In the beginning, I thought my lack of education and experience with the language itself would be a weakness of mine. And while it has created some challenges from time to time, I would say my lack of academic knowledge has more so been a strength. Because before I can teach you anything, I have to learn it myself. And if I don't get it, I can't teach it. So everything I teach you guys has first been dumbed down for me to get it. Then I can teach you. And I think that has worked well so far. Whew. That was all for this week's episode. If you want to learn some new vocabulary, expressions, and challenge your Swedish skills in the coming week, head on over to Patreon. I will give both the Learn Swedish and Slow Swedish tiers access to all these Q&A episodes. Patreon.com/Slow Swedish, $10 per month. See you there. Och vi hörs igen nästa vecka. Hej då!